Debra Morrison, a 42-year financial expert. Welcome to the We Can Do It Women, where women 50 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert and champion for extraordinary women just like you. For over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures and build a life of their dreams. And this is now igniting the mission to ignite a revolution. Yes, showing the world that at 50, 60, 70, and beyond, some of us might be a nickel slower, yet we're all just getting started. And our esteemed guest today comes to us from Eugene, Oregon, Paula Prober. Paula is an author, consultant, blogger, and psychotherapist in private practice based in Eugene, Oregon. For the past 35 plus years, her clients have been intellectually and creatively gifted adults and parents of gifted children. She's best known for her work with gifted adults and children, especially for coining and popularizing the Rainforest Mind idea to describe highly sensitive, intense, creative, and gifted people. Paula, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Debra. I'm so happy to be here.
It's our treat for sure. And so I want to get right into this. You have devised this rainforest mind metaphor. Talk to us about it.
Yes. Well, before I became a therapist, I was a teacher. I taught gifted children in the public schools, and I needed a way to explain what giftedness looked like to people because it's a controversial kind of topic. What is gifted? Who is gifted, right? So I came up with the metaphor of the rainforest mind to describe this type of population, right? And you think of like the rainforest, these people are highly sensitive and very creative and very bright and very colorful and intense, and so the metaphor really fit very well for these kids. And as it turns out, I started working then with adults in my therapy practice, and it fits for the adults as well. And people are more comfortable with the metaphor rather than calling themselves gifted. They fit into this description, and it's been very delightful to work with it and to have written about it now and connect with so many people like this.
Right. And I love the rainforest ecosystem idea because it does dovetail into the connotation of gifted. Kind of uses this kind of is like a categorization, just like, okay, gifted. And it's so multifaceted. So I love the ecosystem idea. And rainforest is completely great. So the same traits you say that make rainforest-minded people creative and insightful can also make ordinary life feel overwhelming. Talk to us about the not too much narrative.
Well, these people are often very intense, and sometimes they talk a lot, or they have a lot of ideas, or they have a lot of interests, or a lot of things that they can do, and they're seen as too much by the general population. And they can be overwhelming because they have so much going on and so much enthusiasm maybe for what they're interested in. At the same time, they often feel like they're not enough. So I wrote about that, too much and not enough, so it can be both, but it's definitely that too muchness, and I should also say that the analogy of the rainforest also fits, like you said, with the multifacetedness, and also the fact that the rainforest supports our planet, and these people are often the people who can make a difference on the planet as well.
I know, and I'm quoting from someplace I researched. You talk about don't say you're too much, you're a lot. Don't say you're too much, you're a lot. You are lush. That's right, into the rainforest. You are
Right.
rich, abundant, prolific, brilliant, dynamic, fertile, effervescent. Oh wow, so
Yes.
very rich. Thank you. Now, you've consulted internationally with individuals of this ilk, and you've been a teacher of gifted children at universities, webinars, podcasts, and conferences. And yet, it wasn't always that way, as I read. You weren't labeled gifted as a child. Is that true? Such
That's
that you weren't really excelling
right.
and getting those straight A's, right?
I did okay in school. It's interesting because a lot of these people are also very creative and don't necessarily fit into the traditional schooling model. Sometimes they don't go to college, and you think the smart kids would be the ones in college, but not necessarily, because they don't fit into the linear sequential model of how we are taught in the schools. Yeah, so that was kind of me too. I didn't really fit in. I did okay, but people sometimes they don't excel in academics. Sometimes
Yeah.
they do, but
Yeah.
but the assumption is that you will if you're smart, but that's not necessarily true.
That's so true. And that linear descriptive, I think, is really very key. You've written articles, myriad articles for Psychotherapy News Networker, excuse me, Advanced Development Journal, the Eugene Register Guard, and then online for Thrive Global, Rebel Society, Psychotherapy.net, Highly Sensitive Refuge, and Introvert Dear. You've offered three books, and I suggest to our readers and our listeners that you read them in order. So the first one is more of a foundational therapeutic book. Talk to us about it.
Yes, yes. The first one that I wrote is the most comprehensive. It's got the most basic information in it. Your Rainforest Mind, a guide to the well-being of gifted adults and youth. And so that would be the one. That's the first one. That would be the one I would suggest if you have to just pick one. The second one is actually a number of articles that I wrote for the blog, and I took them, and I put them together into the second book. Just the first 4 years of the blog. Now I've been blogging for 12 years, so there's a lot more on the blog.
Now, listen, sweetheart, if you did a third compilation book, I mean, I already have a third book, but if you did a fourth book that's a compilation of all the other years,
Yeah.
you guys listen to the title of her second book, Journey into Your Rainforest Mind, a guide for gifted adults and teens, book lovers, overthinkers, geeks, sensitives, brainiacs, intuitives, procrastinators, and perfectionists. I think you covered a lot of it.
Yeah, that covers a lot of who these people are, for sure. Yeah. And I should just mention the third book is a journal. So for people who want to go deeper into themselves, a lot of these people are very introspective and writers, journal writers sometimes. And so that's a journal, a guided journal to understand more of who you are as a gifted person.
And I love that. And you interweave in to your books, Paula, these exercises. In the first book, you're giving writing prompts in order to help people reframe old labels, right? Uh,
Right.
I thought the second book, your exercises that you discuss are micro habits for overwhelm, dealing with overwhelm, right? I think these are very, very valuable. And then the third book exercise, emotion tracking, perfectionism and self-criticism, some of us, suffer there, including mistake logs. Mistake logs. You record what actually happened versus what you feared. How brilliant is that? Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. there, there are lots of different exercises in the third book. A lot of different prompts, and then some descriptions, some explanations of what the rainforest mind is like. So, yeah.
Well, I always think it's practical, and I love the act of cursive writing. It engages a portion of our brain that unlocks a lot of trauma. And you harken back to think about maybe in your early childhood when you didn't fit in, and that could, in fact, still be seeded somewhere that we need to identify and unseed, and that's the whole
Yes.
point of your work, right?
Right. Yes. 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 And I should mention that I think this fits with your viewers that I didn't start blogging until I was 62.
Yes.
I know. So I was working as a therapist, and I had a little practice, and that was great, but I wanted to do more. And so the blog, 62 is when I started the blog, and my first book was published when I was 64.
Listen up.
And I'm still going strong.
And we are grateful. So you talk about rainforest-minded people are often deep thinkers who may be overwhelmed by sensory input, strong emotions, or too many possibilities, right? And so you
Right.
link the idea of giftedness to that not all rainforest minds are gifted, although not all gifted people fit this profile. So talk to us about that.
Okay. So all rainforest minded people are intellectually advanced. They are gifted, but not all gifted people are rainforest minds.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah, because the gifted is a particular type. The rainforest mind is a particular type of gifted. So there can be very, very advanced thinkers who
Yes.
are let's say, scientists in the lab, and they just do this one thing and they do it their whole adult lives and they're happy with it. And it obviously they're very smart, they're very intelligent, but they don't have the rainforest mind where they're maybe not highly sensitive. Maybe they don't have a lot of empathy. Maybe they don't have multiple interests. Many of these people have several careers over their lifetimes. Or they go to college and they change their major 5 times because they want to learn about everything. So not all advanced intellectual people have all of that too. Does that make
Yes.
sense? Does that fit for
It
you?
certainly does. And so, as I was reading, I mean, obviously, a lot of other gift books on gifted people and so forth usually treat the giftedness as a capacities and service, like a skill set issue. And you treat it as an identity and sensory emotional system issue. Does that?
Right, right. And it's, they also talk about it as high achievement.
There you
And
go.
so, right, the eminent people, the high achievers are the gifted ones, and they might be. But many of these people, don't win the prizes or don't even win like the Nobel Prize or the genius, whatever, grants, But giftedness isn't just about achievement, and it often isn't about achievement. It's more like you say, what I work with, which is highly developed emotional skills and spiritual abilities, maybe, or spiritual sensitivities. And yeah. So the achievement thing gets in people's way when they think, well, I'm not gifted because I don't do math. So I've got people tell me, well, I was never good at math, so I'm probably not gifted, or they aren't, they didn't win the National Merit Scholarship or something. So it's more than achievement.
Right, right. And I was delighted to poke around in your Instagram account, and I invite every one of you to do that because you have many quotes in there about if you fear that you're not going to, finish and get the accolade for the achievement, that could stop you from, starting. And so you want to, I think the theme here is that we want to have gifted people feel less clinical. Gifted, right? Emphasize your strengths as well as your challenges. And you explain these frameworks and so forth with you have a 12 question and a 23 question checklist. Just go over how you have devised this and some of the high points of that.
Well, that's interesting. So that's my what I call it. It's my unscientific anecdotal quiz, and so it's in both of my first 2 books, and it's on the I don't know. I don't think it's on the blog. It's on the blog. Yes, if you go to the blog and you go to the quiz, you'll see the quiz. 24 questions. I really can't. I don't. If I don't have them in front of me, so I don't know what those questions are. But it's kind of based on what I know about working with these clients for years and years. I came up with kind of a funny. It's supposed to be humorous. It's supposed to be lighthearted, but people take the quiz and they write to me and they say, well, I laughed through this quiz, but I fit 23 out of 24, or I fit 22 out of 24. And it's a fun way to understand what it means to have a rainforest mind.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah, I read through them and it was like, wow, I'm checking off some items myself. But you say, and now I finally found the quote that you say, and I quote you, if your identity is linked to high achievement and praise for your accomplishments, you can become dependent on the accolades. It might be hard to attempt something new that might not result in a noteworthy outcome. Boy, that really hit home with me.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the challenges. It's really it's interesting because when these people are little, when they're young, and if they get like everybody's praising them for how smart they are, and they get 100% on all the tests, and that's what people notice about them, their achievement at that young age. They start to believe that they're valued because they get straight A's, or because because of their accomplishments as opposed to who they are as human beings. So that sets up perfectionism, really is what it sets up. Yeah. And you have to be perfect, or you don't risk losing that identity by trying something and making mistakes or even failing at it. So that is one thing that I talk to clients a lot about because that's pretty common.
Yes. And it's that mismatch, is it not, Paula? I mean, these highly intuitive and sensitive people that I mean, they're like looking around, they're feeling the atmosphere, and if what they
Mhm.
thought they were going to say doesn't kind of fit in with what everyone else is saying, they're probably not going to be speaking up too much. So it's that mismatch, which you very, very eloquently put, mismatch with environments or people who
Mhm.
don't understand gifted
Mhm.
people. And so these are some of the
Mhm.
challenges of giftedness. And yet the gifts and the beauty is
Mhm.
unsurpassed. I mean, you must live such a rich life accentuating and encouraging these
Mm.
people to bloom.
I love it. It's just the best job in the world. Yeah, it's just because these people are so fascinating and so sweet and caring, and they generally are want to do something important in the world, or they're there's a sense of justice and fairness as well as all these other traits, and they're just precious to work with. I do have to say. I love my job, and I'm 74 now, and I'm still doing it, and I'm not going to retire. So, yeah.
So if we can encapsulate some of the themes, at least those which I gleaned at, be as introspective as you want, because self-understanding supports self-acceptance and growth. And I think to your point just now, when you're in that space, you empathize with others, even though you may not understand from whence they're coming. It's just that you both feel a little outside and dissonant with the system.
Yes. So is there a question there? Is
Well,
that
no.
so, yeah, yeah. But that sense of being intuitive and highly sensitive and having a lot of empathy and picking up what other people aren't feeling. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. And you make a very good point about, hey, find your tribe and befriend other gifted people so that you're not, here on an island.
Right. And they're hard to find. So that's one of the other things that people come to me with. Where do I find my people? And the more intelligent these people are, the higher, more intellect that they have, the harder it is to find others like them. And it
Mhm.
can be very lonely.
Yeah, and their standards are higher. Let's get serious. I mean, they're going to be bored with some of, what some people have to offer. You
True.
talk about slowing down. Wow. Using active listening. Talk to us about how those exercises have helped some of your clients.
Huh. Well, the slowing down. I don't know that I think that maybe I mentioned that, or maybe you read that, where I write about how to communicate with other people, where so that they can develop better relationships or
Yes.
closer relationships or more intimacy with people, and sometimes they do need to slow down their presentation because they do overwhelm other people. So that's probably what you're referring to there. And then the other thing, when I have clients who have trouble in relationships and they don't know how to connect with somebody else, I will once one of the suggestions I'll make, try listening to the other person. And I talk to people about how do you do active listening? So you listen and then you respond with what you just heard them say, and that's a way in. But that's usually something I tell people when they're having trouble communicating with other people or being understood by other people.
Exactly. And I may not have introduced it well, but it's about adapting strategically. And
Yeah.
you're really good at building that bridge for them. And I can imagine the exponential relief that they feel talking with you because you get them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, they do feel relief, and they don't have to hold back. They don't have to slow down with me, and they don't have to. They don't have to hide their accomplishments. They don't have to be afraid to tell me how hard it is to be so smart,
Yes.
because I get it. Yeah, and that's where do you talk about that? Who do you tell that you are struggling because you're too smart? you know,
Yeah.
that's not. You can't just talk about that with everyone.
Absolutely. So we're really grateful you're in this space. And so I just want to end with a little known fact. You have a foot, every pun intended, in the arts and dance world. You're known as a
Oh.
Argentine tango dancer, and that it helps you blend as you say, emotional depth, sensuality, and it is sensual, and discipline, traits that show up in your work with Rainforest Minds. When did you start dancing and with the Argentine tango?
Yeah, I was 47 when I started the tango. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, you're never too old to do something new. And it was intimidating because it is not easy to learn.
Oh,
And
it is
so
not.
you had to be a beginner. I had to be a beginner and be really clumsy. I write about it often in the blog. Be really clumsy for about the first year or two and still stay with it. But it's just very, it's a great, it's a great way to connect to people without talking. So that for the highly gifted person who has trouble in relationships, they learn the dance. They don't have to talk, but they get followed. They get held. Yeah, it's powerful, and you also learn about being in your body, which
Oh, right.
many really super smart people are more in their brains, in their heads, and this forces you to be embodied, which is also powerful for this population. So, yeah.
I love to watch the Argentine tango. I mean, I like took a couple lessons and I wasn't so good. And I love to watch it, that fluidity and the closeness and the OMG. So this would be an amazing skill set and hobby, if you will, for people that are gifted. So Paula, is there a last message that you want to deliver to our audience, including where they can reach you?
Huh. Well, yes. I guess the message would be doing the reading, reading the blog, reading the books to really get a sense of who you are under this umbrella, because it really makes a difference to that self-awareness, that self-acceptance is really important for your future, for your career, for your being a parent, anything, having that self-care and self-awareness is really important. And I would say that. And then rainforestmind.com is my website. And
Right.
that's the best place because you can find my books on there and you can find the blog. And then, yeah, that's the best. And you can find the contact sheet. You want to reach me, and have a consultation because I'm not doing counseling much anymore. I do counseling with clients in Oregon, but outside of the state, I'm doing consulting around the world, and
Yeah.
that's how people can reach me through the blog, through the website.
Well, we'll put that all in the show notes so that everyone has it to tap into. And I completely am uh, excited about this topic, and we will have you back because we've just scratched the surface. So I thank you for joining us, Paula, and I thank you, viewers, for joining us on the We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you, I value you. And your greatest chapter is just beginning. And if today's episode sparks something in you, likely you're not alone. So I invite you to introduce yourself to our We Can Do It Women Facebook community and share your next chapter dream so that we can all share in and celebrate the manifestation of just that. The world needs us, our wisdom, and the impact that will bring to droves of women worldwide. We can do it, women. Yes, we can. Bye for now.